After decades of watching Ford trucks come and go, 5 engines have refused to die while everything around them wore out. These are the ones you should never sell. If one of these is sitting under your hood, you're sitting on treasure. Here's what nobody tells you when you're thinking about letting a truck go. The body rusts, the interior wears, the suspension tires, but underneath it all, some of these engines are just getting started, and they'll outlast the truck they came in. The market has figured that out. The good ones get harder to find every year, and the people who know these engines don't sell them. So here are the 5 Ford engines you should never let go of, counting down to the one worth fighting over. Let's get into it. Number 5. The 6.2-liter Boss V8. The 6.2 Boss came out in 2010 to replace some genuinely troubled Ford engines. The old 5.4 Triton V8 and the 6.8 Triton V10. Ford's truck engineers built it with one goal in mind: severe duty reliability. No fancy direct injection, no complicated turbo system, no gimmicks. Just a simple, tough design meant to survive Super Duty work and the first-generation SVT Raptor. The block is deep skirt cast iron with 6-bolt main caps, 4 straight down and 2 cross-bolted through the sides. That setup keeps the crankshaft from flexing under heavy loads, which is the kind of thing that kills lesser engines over time. Up top, you've got cast aluminum heads and a single overhead cam setup running 2 valves per cylinder with stiff roller rocker arms. It also runs 2 spark plugs per cylinder instead of 1. That might sound like a gimmick, but it isn't. With a bore just over 4 inches, 2 plugs give a more complete burn across that whole cylinder, which lowers engine knock and reduces stress on the pistons. Less stress means less wear, year after year. The numbers back up what this engine can do. Depending on the year, you're looking at 385 to 411 horsepower and 405 to 434 pound-feet of torque out of a 6.2-liter, 379 cubic inch V8 running a modest 9.8 to 1 compression ratio. That's not a race engine. That's a workhorse built to run at moderate stress for a long, long time. Fleet data backs this up, with regular oil changes using the right 5W20 or 5W30 oil and a spark plug swap around the 100,000-mile mark. Since there are 16 of them to service, these engines routinely clear 300,000 miles in commercial service without ever touching the bottom end. That's not a lucky example. That's what these engines are built to do. Compare that to what came after it in some of Ford's later light-duty engines. Direct injection brings carbon buildup on the intake valves over time, and complicated turbo setups bring more parts that can eventually fail. The 6.2 Boss skipped all of that on purpose, and that decision is exactly why it's still running strong in trucks that owners assumed would need an engine replacement by now. It's also worth remembering this engine was never meant to be exciting. It was meant to survive fleet abuse, tow heavy trailers day after day, and keep a work truck moving without drama. That's a different design philosophy than chasing horsepower numbers for a magazine review, and it's exactly why it earned a spot on this list. As emissions rules get stricter every year, engines built this simple are becoming harder to find in new trucks. That scarcity is part of why a clean 6.2 Boss is worth holding on to, rather than trading in for something with more electronics and more ways to brake. If you've got a 6.2 in your Super Duty or your first-gen Raptor, that's not a truck you flip for something newer. That's an engine built like a tank, and it'll outlast most of what replaced it. Before we get to the next engine, if you want a more in-depth look into how your pickup truck can last 200,000, 300,000, or even 500,000 miles, this ebook reveals the exact maintenance secrets and brand-specific strategies that every smart pickup truck owner should know. If you want to check it out, the link is down in the description below. Number 4. The 5-liter 302 and 5.8-liter 351 Windsor V8. The Windsor family ran from 1962 all the way to 2001. That's one of the longest continuous production runs of any American engine, and there's a reason it lasted that long. Simple, overbuilt, pushrod design that Ford refined instead of reinventing for 4 decades. The cast iron block has thick cylinder walls and heavy main bearing support. That rigidity keeps the cylinder bores from distorting even after thousands of heat cycles, which means the piston rings keep sealing properly for decades instead of losing compression early. The 5-liter has a shorter 8.206-inch deck height compared to the 351's 9.503 inches, but both share that same overbuilt architecture underneath. This engine went through 3 real eras, and each one made it better without making it more fragile. Early on, it was a carbureted flat tappet design that needed the right oil with proper zinc additive to protect the camshaft from wear. By 1985, Ford added hydraulic roller camshafts to the 5-liter high output, which got rid of the friction wear that used to eat up cam lobes over time. Right on its heels, in 1986 came electronic multi-port fuel injection, which stopped raw fuel from washing down the cylinder walls and diluting the oil, something that used to quietly wear out engines from the inside. By the early 90s, every 5 and 5.8 rolling off the line had the roller cam and fuel injection working together. That combination is why a well-maintained Windsor V8 will clear 300,000 miles without much drama. Whether it's sitting in a Mustang, an F-Series, a Bronco, or a Crown Victoria, you'll still want to watch a couple of known weak points. The TFI ignition module can overheat and cause a heatsink failure, and the rear main seal tends to weep a little oil over time. On the 351, the intake manifold gasket is another common leak point. None of these threaten the bottom end of the engine, and none of them are expensive to sort out. There's a reason this is one of the most swapped and modified engines in American history. Enthusiasts have kept the Windsor alive for decades because the platform is dead simple to work on, and parts support is still everywhere you look. When an engine has this much aftermarket backing, that's usually a sign it earned its reputation the hard way. Compare that to today's engines, where a lot of the internals are computer-controlled to the point that even simple part swaps require specialized tools and software. The Windsor's simplicity means a shade tree mechanic with basic tools can keep one running for another 30 years without needing a dealership involved. That long production run also means Ford had decades to work out the kinks. By the time the 351 wrapped up production in 1997 and the 5-liter followed in 2001, both versions were about as refined and proven as a pushrod V8 could get. If you've got a Mustang, an old F-Series, or a Bronco with a Windsor V8, you're holding onto a piece of engineering that already proved it could go the distance across 3 decades of American driving. Don't be in a hurry to let it go. Number 3. The 4.6-liter 2-valve Modular V8. This engine spent its life in Crown Victorias, Grand Marquis, town cars, police interceptors, and even the F-150. Think about that for a second. Non-stop taxi idling, high-speed pursuit driving, years of abuse most private owners never come close to putting on a vehicle. And it kept running. The strength comes from the same idea as the 6.2 Boss, a deep skirt cast iron block with 6-bolt, cross-bolted main caps, 4 vertical and 2 horizontal, threading right through the side skirts. That design keeps the crankshaft rock solid, which is exactly why these engines held up under fleet-level punishment for hundreds of thousands of miles without the bearing issues that plague lesser designs. Factory output ranged from 190 to 250 horsepower and 260 to 297 pound-feet of torque, depending on the year and application. Modest numbers, sure, but that's part of the point. An engine that isn't working near its limit is an engine that isn't wearing itself out. Now, it's not perfect, and I'm not going to pretend it is. Pre-2002 models used a composite intake manifold with a plastic coolant crossover that's known to crack near the thermostat housing. The fix is simple. Swap it for a post-2002 manifold with the aluminum crossover, and that problem is solved for good. The second issue is more important to know about. Cylinder heads built from 1996 through early 2003 only had 4 or 5 threads holding the spark plugs in place, and the factory torque spec of 12 to 14 foot-pounds was too light. Over time, That let plugs work loose from combustion pressure and vibration, and they'd strip the aluminum threads right out of the head. The fix here matters. Torque those plugs to 20 to 22 foot-pounds dry, no anti-seize, using a real torque wrench instead of guessing. If the threads are already stripped, a steel thread insert, something like a Calvan or Time-Cert kit, makes the repair permanent. It's worth knowing that the 2-valve version of the 4.6 is a completely different animal from the later 3-valve and DOHC variants that came with more complicated valve trains and more problems. If you're shopping for one of these trucks or sedans, knowing which version you're getting matters just as much as knowing the mileage. Fleet managers who ran these engines in taxi and police service kept detailed records over the years, and those records are exactly why this engine built its reputation. Departments don't keep unreliable equipment on the road through pursuit driving and 24-hour shifts, and they kept the 4.6 2-valve around for a long time. Handle those two issues, and you've got an engine that routinely runs past 400,000 miles. That's not a guess. That's what fleet history from taxi companies and police departments across the country shows. Number 2, the 7.3-liter Power Stroke turbo diesel. Built by Navistar and International Harvester as the T444E from mid-1994 through 2003, this is the diesel that earned Ford's reputation in the truck world, and for good reason. It started life as a commercial medium-duty engine before Ford ever put it in an F-250 or an E-Series van. The heart of it is the HEUI fuel system, which stands for hydraulically actuated electronically controlled unit injection. Instead of a traditional mechanical injection pump, it uses engine oil, pressurized up to 3,000 pounds per square inch by a high-pressure oil pump to fire the injectors. That means clean oil isn't just lubrication here, it's directly protecting your fuel system. Regular oil changes matter more on this engine than almost any other on this list. And the 15-quart oil capacity gives it real thermal stability during heavy towing. Everything about the 7.3 was built heavy. Cast iron block, cast iron heads, a forged steel crankshaft across every year, and forged steel connecting rods in the 1994.5 through 2000 model years before Ford transitioned to powdered metal rods in 2001. Turbocharging came from a fixed geometry Garrett TP38 early on, later replaced by the GTP38. The factory kept boost pressure conservative, around 15 to 20 pounds per square inch, and never let the engine chase big horsepower numbers at the expense of durability. That's why these engines are documented running anywhere from 500,000 to over 1 million miles on the original internals. Let that number sink in for a second. 1 million miles on a factory bottom end in a truck engine that was never babied. There are 3 things worth knowing if you own one. The factory dipstick adapter has a single O-ring that eventually leaks. And since pulling the oil pan requires pulling the engine, most owners install an aftermarket billet adapter with dual external O-rings instead. The fuel bowl filter needs changing every 5,000 to 10,000 miles to keep contamination away from the injectors. And it's smart to carry a spare Motorcraft camshaft position sensor and a 10mm socket, since that sensor can fail without warning and strand you on the road. This engine is exactly why the diesel truck market changed forever. Once Ford moved on to the 6-liter Power Stroke, and later the 6.4, both of those engines came with more emissions equipment and more documented issues. And that's a big reason enthusiasts and mechanics alike still talk about the 7.3 with this kind of respect. That reputation shows up in the used market too. Trucks with a healthy, unmodified 7.3 under the hood consistently hold their value better than comparable trucks with later diesel engines, because buyers know exactly what they're getting. It's also become one of the most popular engines to swap into older trucks, specifically because of that million-mile reputation. When people are willing to pull an engine out of one truck just to drop it into another, that tells you everything about how much trust this power plant has earned. None of the maintenance items are bottom-end problems. They're simple maintenance items on an engine that was built to run essentially forever. If you've got a 7.3 in your Super Duty, you're not driving a used truck. You're driving a piece of diesel engineering that most manufacturers still can't match today. Number 1. The 300 cubic inch, 4.9-liter inline-six. This is it, the most durable engine Ford Motor Company ever produced. Built from 1965 to 1996, the 300 straight six spent its life in F-Series trucks, Broncos, E-Series vans, tractors, irrigation pumps, and even airport towing equipment. It was never built to impress anybody. It was built to work, plain and simple. 3 things make this engine nearly indestructible. First, an inline-six is naturally balanced in both the primary and secondary rotational planes. The pistons and their forces cancel each other out, so there's none of the internal vibration that slowly fatigues bearings and components the way it does in a V8 or a 4-cylinder. Ford never needed a balance shaft on this engine because the design itself handles it. Second, the block has 7 main bearings supporting the crankshaft, one on every side of every throw. That's serious support, and it's why the crank stays steady and the oil film stays stable, even after decades of hard, continuous use. Most engines can't claim that kind of bottom-end support at any price point. Third, and this is the big one, there's no timing chain and no timing belt. The camshaft is driven directly by gears meshing with the crankshaft. Nothing to stretch, nothing to snap, no tensioner to fail. Ford originally used a phenolic resin gear on the camshaft, a fiberglass reinforced resin over an aluminum hub to keep the valve train quiet. After enough decades, that gear can eventually shear a tooth or two. The permanent fix is swapping in an all-metal gear set, steel crank gear paired with an aluminum cam gear, and once that's done, this timing system basically can't fail again. With a nearly square bore and stroke, 4 inches by 3.98 inches, and a low compression ratio between 8 and 8.8 to 1. This engine makes strong low-end torque, up to 283 pound-feet, at barely 1,600 to 2,000 revolutions per minute. It's not revving hard to do its job, which is exactly why it doesn't wear out. Cylinder walls, piston rings, and valve guides all see a fraction of the wear a high-revving engine deals with over the same number of miles. Think about what that low RPM operation actually means over a lifetime of driving. Most of the wear inside any engine happens at higher RPM under load, and this engine almost never gets there because it doesn't need to. It just lugs along, doing the same job a bigger, thirstier engine would do at a fraction of the internal stress. This design philosophy is basically extinct in modern engines. Emissions regulations and the demand for higher horsepower numbers killed off the simple, low-stress inline-six a long time ago, and manufacturers have no reason to ever bring a design like this back. That alone makes a healthy 300 straight six a piece of engineering history you won't find in a showroom again. Delivery fleets like UPS ran these engines 400,000 to 700,000 miles on the original bottom end before the trucks around them were finally retired. That's documented, not exaggerated. When a company that depends on its trucks running every single day chooses an engine and sticks with it for decades, that's the strongest endorsement an engine can get. If you've got a 300 inline-six, you are holding on to the single toughest engine Ford Motor Company ever put on the road. Don't sell it. They simply don't build them like this anymore. So that's the list. 5 Ford engines that refuse to quit long after the rest of the truck wears out. The 6.2 Boss, the Windsor, V8s, the 4.6 two-valve, the 7.3 Power Stroke, and the legendary 300 inline-six. Every one of them was built on the same idea: less stress, simpler parts, and no shortcuts that come back to bite you later. If one of these is sitting in your driveway right now, you're not holding onto an old truck. You're holding onto an engine built to outlast you. Hit subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.